who owns the database? Who really owns the database? So, I mean, when something goes wrong, who gets the first call? Is it the DBA? Is it the developer? No. Is it the architect? Is it, the person least likely to dodge the phone? We need to know who owns the database. So with me, I've got Kellyn and I've got Steve. My name's Grant. We're all advocates with Redgate Software, and we're going to talk about who owns the database. Steve,
who owns
in your experience, who owns the database?
Mo owns the database, because when something goes wrong, I just send a ticket to Mo, or I direct message him and say, I got a problem.
Mo's working back there.
And Mo doesn't like owning the database at all.
Oh, yeah.
You know why? Because Mo has to call somebody else to figure out what's going on.
I was on call for 15 straight years.
Continuously? Like
yes.
No days off?
No days off. I'm not kidding. I was on call, even at campouts. And that was weird.
Is that Oracle World too, like that?
Yes and no. I have been the sole multi-platform DBA on call, and it meant that my scripts, my automation was flawless. It was the only way that I had a personal life. But for most teams, especially in enterprise environments, I had teams of DBAs that were on call. Some environments, I knew very quickly I did not want to be there because I was on call every 2 or 3 weeks and thinking this is hell. And I wanted developers to start being on call because I wanted them to feel some of that hell. But yeah, we usually owned it, and I felt best when I was in control.
Well, let me ask another question. I mean, like who really owns it? I mean, granted,
the users.
Granted, we're on call,
right?
Yeah.
Right. So on really, really important levels, we do own it.
We do.
But who really owns it?
Like, I think nobody owns it, right? In most enterprises, right, like a portion of it is owned by developers because they've done code things. Certainly the database piece of it, to a point, like when we get a call into the database till we return results, we own that. But we don't always know where that call comes from or what's happening. Or I think the hard thing sometimes is it related to other calls from that application, because
Sure.
At least during my career, we started to see people able to multi-thread calls or make multiple things happen as opposed to everything being serial. And so sometimes if your developers got too creative, then you had a complex thing to debug from the database side, because you could be seeing the same.
I lived for those. What do you mean?
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's complex.
I am saying they're bad at 3 a.m.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
right. Like I think for most of us, right, there's a help desk. Somebody responds to calls. Like we don't get, like, users don't call me, right? Like I don't want to hear that. But usually somebody gets a call and then they go, it's a database problem.
It's never the database.
They ping one of us to say, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Can you look at this thing? Right, which is always a challenge, especially if it is the 3 a.m. or you're somewhere else and you don't know the context, right? You're trying to you wake up or go, what are you talking about? Like, what's even the situation?
It used to make me be very proactive because, as I told my favorite DBA to work with, you go back to sleep, I don't.
Yeah.
So I was very proactive about things. And I also knew that if I started getting a lot of 3 a.m. pages and it wasn't being fixed or I wasn't able to be proactive, it was probably time to look for a new job.
I think that's very true for sure. Like I've definitely looked for new jobs because you don't want to be on call constantly, right?
Especially if that's how the company's making money, is by billable hours.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh no. See, that would be horrible.
I will say, like you, like I try to be proactive. Like in some of the large enterprises, we had a multidisciplinary team that was on call, and we rotated that call. So even though, like you, I was technically on call for database stuff, I could teach the Exchange people or the Windows people certain things, right? Like,
Sure.
Don't call me for password resets or things like you guys, here's how you do that.
Right. But yeah.
Oh, that doesn't happen in the Oracle world, by the way, too.
Well, I mean, we ran into problems. We ran into problems with the multiple teams, because what would happen is, storage team, for example, not picking on the storage team, but just for example, they weren't managing storage well.
Yeah.
We would run out of space on the database. Now the database is on fire. I've got problems.
But it's not really you.
I'm awake. I'm on call, but I can't actually fix it.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to spend half an hour or 45 minutes going, okay, it's a.
And then you escalate.
Yeah, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
Now I got to call somebody and wake them up at 3:45 because I was woken up at 3 a.m.
Right. Yeah.
And this is where I would have proactive scripts looking out to find the developer who ended up allocating a whole bunch of disk space through a table that they created, because I would have to justify myself to the Unix admin of going, you need more storage again, Kellyn? What? So I felt that pain all the time, but I always found that I was protecting myself. I was doing a lot of CYA in every job that I had as a DBA, as an Oracle DBA, because I couldn't offload that to a Unix admin, and he wouldn't let me, first off. And the developers many times were in their own little world too.
I think that's one of those challenges of the database world too, is because we sit at the center of databases, right? Storage, application,
It's
and
the center of everything.
Networking.
right? Like all that stuff affects what happens, and
You're guilty until proven innocent.
yeah, those people own those different parts, and we
Yeah.
have to kind of prove.
We constantly had to prove it
Right,
was
but like
not
we have to know
the
where
database.
our thing starts and ends so that we can escalate or blame or complain or whatever.
Yeah, I
right?
mean, and again, blame did happen. I was young. What do you want?
Yeah.
But ultimately, you kind of get to the point where it's like I don't care about blame. Let's just not wake up at 3 a.m. anymore.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like I don't care whose fault it is. Let's just fix it.
Let's make everything better.
Let me ask another question. Has ownership shifted? I mean, we've got like all these different development paradigms that we've been working on, all these different kinds of mechanisms going on, from say the word DevOps, but all the other things that have been happening with automation and compliance and all that stuff, right? Has that shifted things around?
I think even more so with the cloud it has, because all of a sudden you have developers that are able to allocate a database very quickly and start working in it, and they see the database as just someplace they can store data in. So they've kind of moved that focus of, DBAs are absolutely essential. I need them. They're like, I could just allocate a database in the cloud and not have to worry about it. We're good. And we may know that 2 years down the road, they're going to need us still. It's sooner or later, it's coming back to haunt them. But we feel that shift. And all of a sudden, developers are making decisions that used to be a DBA's job.
I had a development team who insisted on calling it the information persistence layer because they didn't want to have a DBA involved. If it said database,
Yes.
then DBAs came in. But if
Yeah.
it's an information persistence layer, they didn't need to worry about that.
Interesting.
I think it's definitely shifted in the area just because everybody's trying to go faster. The less people involved, the faster we go.
Sure.
So I certainly think developers are getting that freedom, but also there's this push to have full stack people, right? That
Sure.
just handle the entire thing, and they do own that. Though they only own it until it stops working, then they call one of us and go, "Why did it stop working?
Right,
Why
yeah.
why isn't it performing like we expected it to perform?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's a big one. That always comes up, the performance.
I do think as I talk to more and more customers, I see less database specialized people. Like they're still there, but they're not growing at the rate that the dev teams are growing in general.
No.
Right. Same thing with storage. I would say there's less storage people,
Oh, yeah.
less Windows infrastructure type of people doing SMS or ops manager, right? Like there's just less of those people because they're expecting any group to do more with less people, right? And they're expecting more generalists for a lot of stuff.
Right.
And it's an interesting world in the Oracle one. As I watch all of these people that were experts in Oracle going, I figured a lot of it out. It's not as interesting. Oh, look at Postgres. I'm going over there.
Yeah.
There's a lot for me to figure out and help with over there. And I can see them. I can see them on the email lists. I can see them in the chats. I'm very aware that that is intriguing to them, that they can actually dig in and fiddle and work with things.
Well, and also, I mean, say another word, Fabric, right? I mean, I'm not even picking on Fabric because we could say Databricks or anything else.
Yeah.
But all of that's affecting, literally who owns the data and where it lives.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, right? Because I think we've all seen people have built a system, right, of some sort, and then they come to us because even though they own it, they don't understand that. But you've seen people allocate things in the cloud or for some platform thing, and then who do you call, right? Because you don't even own the database, right? Like you have to get Microsoft involved, right? We call third level support, we get Connor this, you're stupid, please stop doing that, do something else, right? And
I haven't tried calling Connor. I've got to call Connor. I actually have Connor's number. Well, okay, let me ask another one. Compliance, auditing, is that new enough that it shifts things, or is it still kind of
It shifted in the Oracle world completely. 19C, they completely reworked auditing. And to make it easier, I think, for developers to use it because they were being expected to be compliant.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think back in some of the enterprises I've worked in, we were audited by people, right? And so we tried to, at least I tried to do a good job of making sure I had information, right? Like I would log those DBA reports daily and just keep them because it makes auditors happy,
Yes.
right? Permission changes, we would, when we closed the ticket, if somebody asked us, we would make sure we logged that in our own space, just so that if somebody asked, we could say, here's a list of the stuff that DBAs do, right? Which often made the auditors happy. I find maybe it's not happening less often as a ratio, right? But more and more of customers we work with, they're always like, we haven't set up any auditing, we don't know what's going on, and they're scared of compliance audits or InfoSec stuff just because they haven't turned it on, right? Like how few people turn on SQL Server, SQL Audit?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to turn on C2, right? Because that means I have to be really good at managing my database because if I run out of space, everything stops.
Everything stops.
Right? So like even for me, who really watches it, I would be like, I don't want to turn that on if I don't have to.
Sure.
Because I'm just creating a problem for myself down the road.
Well, I mean, the one thing that we saw was my last employer, they knew what they were going to get audited for, and we were given.
Yeah.
You will comply.
Yes.
Right? I mean, and that was, it actually made it easy because it was a roadmap, and we just followed the roadmap, and it wasn't that hard. Plus, we also use SQL Doc. And it's an old Redgate tool for those who don't know, but it would document a database. We bring out like this, 3-foot high stack of paper and go, here's information about our databases, and the auditors would be like, oh, okay, cool, you can go away now.
Yeah, right. Like the more information you give them, the less they bother you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I try to get people to understand that. The more you give them, the more they think you're on top of your environment, right? Whether you are or not,
right?
They just leave you alone.
It's not about content; it's about having content.
Yeah. Right. And the thing is interesting because I've been with a couple customers that have gone through PCI or SOX audits lately.
Yes.
And so many of them fail. Like typically what happens, you get a pre-audit, 6 months ahead of time your auditors come in, you go through all this stuff and they say, you have 1,000 things to fix. And then you can't fix them because of organizational problems. And so you're stressed, right? And so what I do see from a lot of customers is they are struggling to get these audits passed because management doesn't care, but it's saying you have to do these things.
Right.
Or vendor applications
Or
limit
vendor-
you.
vendor
You've got all
applications.
different things that can come back to bite you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, God. All right. Last thing. Let's end on a happy note. Any funny stories about ownership?
About ownership.
Data ownership, database ownership.
Is it funny I terminated my boss over it?
Oh, that is kind of funny.
I don't know, be careful what you say.
Yeah. I had challenges with ownership over database that the DBA team reported up through development, the development manager, and he was making changes directly into production, which were causing the DBAs to have to be on call constantly every single night.
Wow.
So I went to HR and I convinced them that it was a conflict of interest and moved us over to operations.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Cool.
So I have two. I worked in a company where we gave everybody SA, like all the developers had SA when I got there. And they were breaking stuff themselves, kind of like the DevOps world now, but they were just breaking stuff. And so I was able to go and say, listen, customers are complaining constantly. These guys aren't doing things. I don't want to slow them down, but I have to have somebody review it to make sure we just don't break things, because they just weren't always cognizant, or they didn't keep the entire scope of the application in their head when they were planning the change. They were thinking my thing is not going to break anything else, which that never happens, but it did in this case.
Sure.
The other one quick, in two different jobs, one consulting, one full-time, where a developer installed a database, like we're saying, right? They install their database, and then they call me and say, hey, it broke, I need to restore. And we had no idea.
So who's backing this up? Yeah.
So you're like, I'm very sorry, I wish I could help you right now.
Chicken and egg.
I'm sorry, I hope you learned a lesson, you do better next time. That's,
wow.
yeah.
Funny enough, I've got the SA story too. They gave SA to the entire company,
Oh my God.
including the receptionist. The only person who never used it was the receptionist. But we had spent the week before for a big client getting everything installed, and then one of the salespeople came in on Sunday to make sure everything was right. they had no clue. And this is a long time ago, SQL Server 6.5. Who knew that you could drop TempDB on SQL Server 6.5? I found that out because the salesperson went nothing temporary in our database and dropped TempDB.
That feels like a Microsoft architectural poor
It
design
was,
decision,
but oh my God, it took me 3 days to figure out how to fix it. It was really a nightmare. But no, the really funny thing was, I went through a period where my phone was going off so much, it had like a little tune, do, 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 do. And my wife made up a song about it. Servers going down. Get out of bed, it's time to go to work.
Better than me. I literally had a pager.
She would sing this song while I'm like staggering through them.
And I was on call for a week and I got paged so many times. My wife was like, put it on vibrate, and I had to wear it on my t-shirt when I was sleeping so that I didn't wake her up.
Oh God.
The company that I talked about where it was billable hours, that the more you got paged. I'd gotten 37 pages in 20 minutes. Wow. And I just looked at it and went, I don't know what to answer first. And so I dug in deep and I figured out what was wrong with the entire system. And they went from 800 billable hours a month down to 300, and I had to go in and report in front of sales and explain myself. Everybody's like, ooh, Kellyn's in trouble, she fixed it. And I kept thinking I'd done a good thing. I thought it was the right thing to do. And when I realized that, I was like, this is not the right business model for me.
No, I got paged 150 times in a week. You got like $25 a call. I was like, it's not worth it.
Not worth it. I wasn't getting paid that much extra. That would have been great. Anyway.
They didn't think it was broke. I thought I had fixed it. Yeah, it was.
All right, so great stories, blurred lines. Look, we're at the point of year, we're getting ready to do the State of Database Landscape Survey. We'd really like you to fill it out. If you're listening, watching the podcast here, take a moment, go fill that survey out. Let us know what you think about ownership, because we'd like to know. That's it. My name's Grant Fritchie. I work for Redgate Software, and this is Simple Talks.